Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome into episode 109 of the Second One podcast. Joining you today is myself, Shiz. And we also have Mr. Taheem Green, aka the champ, is here. And
Yeah,
special
yeah,
guest,
yeah.
Mr. Charles Ransom Polk, aka Mr. Ransom. Fellas, how are y'all feeling today?
I'm feeling amazing.
All right, all right, all right,
All right, all
all right,
right.
all right, all right.
Yes, sir. So how
I'm,
this
I'm feeling
podcast
good.
works, we usually talk mostly sports, hip hop, politics, and everything in between. We give it to you straight, raw, no chaser. And if we offend you, we apologize slightly. How we usually kick things off, we have our taking a shot segment where we give a bold prediction about one of the categories I just named. Collectively, we do pretty well, about 80%. But when you're taking a shot, you're bound to have a couple hiccups here and there. So I'm gonna kick it off. I'm gonna take it to this NFC North. Take it to these. I'm gonna take it to these Chicago Bears. They started off the season 5-1. You know, good start, great start. Nick Foles came in, kind of steered the ship a little bit, got it correct, and then all of a sudden they lose a game. They lose another one, and another one, and another one. Now they're currently 5-6. And my taking a shot is that I don't think the coach Matt Nagy survives the season. I'm looking at their schedule here. They got a couple inexcusable losses if it were to happen coming up. So their next game is at home against the Lions, who don't even have a coach anymore. If they lose that game, I think Nagy's out of there. But if he happens to survive that one, their next game is the Texans, who also don't have a head coach, and they're going to be at home. So I'm saying my
And they don't have any wide receivers.
yeah, Will Fuller, putting that deer antler in his body. He's suspended for 6 games. So my taking a shot is that if the Bears somehow lose next week, or no, this week or the following week, one of those two games, Matt Nagy's out of there, and that'd be that. And also, I want to mention this. I have a bet with my friend or our good friend Doug. So once they were 5-1, we made a bet. I said that the Bears will cover more games against the spread than they will not. Of course, Doug takes that they will not cover the spread. I took that they will. Currently, I'm down 3 games, and it's not looking good. The bet is for each game that I miss, I have to buy him a shot. And this is not no, lemon drop shot from Jack's. This is you know, whiskey, Jack Daniels, some type of high level bourbon that I'm going to owe him. So
I love the
literally,
bourbon.
it's going to be like $15 a shot. So right now, it's looking like I'm down $45.
How about you should let me pick the shots.
And you're
No,
talking about drinking in Vegas. You got that's
yeah, yeah,
in the hotels. Whew,
like Las Vegas. Like we're going to Vegas next year.
$15 is like rock gut. You're gonna be that's gonna be
Mm,
triple. It's gonna be might be triple digits by the time this whole thing is over.
Yeah, I don't know, but at the end of the day, my taking the shot is this: if the Bears somehow were to lose to the Lions or the Texans, Matt Nagy's out of there. He's fired. Peace. I'll start with you, Taheem. What are your thoughts?
I think it's actually a pretty good taking a shot, but I actually think Detroit's going to win that game because I don't say a lot of times, but sometimes when you get that the coach is gone, we might be fighting for our lives. That first game, those guys come out, they come out energized. I know Swift, he's back off of
Yeah,
concussion
yeah,
protocol.
yeah.
Uh, so they might win this game, and it's not like the Bears is some awesome team, that just
I thought they were. They were 5-1, and they beat the Bucks.
no.
They were
The
riding.
Bucks,
They were flying high.
the Bucks they've been playing suspect all year. I just think they caught the Bucks on a lucky week. So the Bears is not a good team. Yeah, I don't think they're going to beat. I don't think they're going to beat Detroit. I think they can beat the Texans though, because like I said, the Texans they don't have anybody to throw the ball to. They just got Cook, and if you double cover him, then I mean, what else are they going to do?
You
They
double
don't
cover
have a
him.
good running game. So, but yeah, I do think Nagy. I think this is his last year. He might not get fired during a year, but this is definitely his last year.
All right, Ransom. What's your thoughts, sir?
Um, he's definitely not getting fired if they lose. In my opinion, Ryan Pace, the GM, really likes Nagy. I think that when he came from the Chiefs, he came with that mystique of the Chiefs. It's almost like the Belichick coaching tree. There is such thing as it's a burgeoning Andy Reid coaching tree. So like Eric Bieniemy is going to benefit from that unless he goes to the cesspool that is MetLife Stadium next year.
Jete.
Yeah, that's the only way. Well, you know what I mean? That's the only way that he won't benefit. But long story short, Ryan Pace likes Nagy, and he still thinks that he could turn around. I'm looking at their wins. They have looked good at times. We're talking about the Bears. At times, situationally. Everyone's going to point to the Bucks. But the Bucks, there's no OTAs, there's no training camp. That I don't really read too much into that. The Bucks are going to be up and down. I had them at 10-6 this year. They might end up being 11-5, maybe 10-6. So it's not shocking that they're going to lose a couple here and there as they gelled. I do see this being the last year of him coaching. They're too far out to get a high draft pick to get one of these, a Fields or the golden child himself.
Yeah.
So
Lawrence.
what are you going to bank it on? Their draft situation isn't great because of they're still dealing with the residuals from Khalil Mack.
Yeah,
they don't draft well. They don't draft well classically anyway, especially not quarterbacks. Jim McMahon was the last halfway decent quarterback they had, and he wasn't even today he'd be the towel boy. So
color wasn't that bad.
Yeah, color might there's an argument.
He might be the best Bears quarterback.
I'm about to say there's an argument to be made that he might have been the best quarterback in Bears history, and that says a lot.
It does say a lot, man.
Yeah, it does. Because that being said, it's not going to be a situation of if it's a situation of when, unless they went on a little baby run at the end. Like remember how last year the Falcons went on a little baby run. And they were able to save Dan Quinn's job. Unless they go on a little baby run, he'll be frying fish somewhere next year. But he'll catch
frying fish.
He's a good coordinator, a la like John Fox or Kubiak. Like they're better, or Wade Phillips is a great example of that. They're better. There's some that are better suited to coordinate rather than to coach.
Yeah, they can't manage the overall team like McCartney looks like a guy that cannot manage the overall team right now.
We'll get there. He can't even manage his weight now.
We'll get there in a moment. I'm glad Charles is here tonight because once we get to the Cowboys, we're just going to need the floor for a little bit, Taim. If you don't mind us, we're going to need the floor.
That's it. That's the least I can get you because y'all so trash. But
it's going to be a tale of two Cowboys fans. I can tell you that much right now.
Yes.
It's going to be that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, to answer Shiz's taking a shot, I do agree, but I disagree. I disagree that after this game, I don't think they're going to pull Matt Patricia. They're not a bad enough franchise like the Lions to fire somebody midseason, unless they get blown out 50-0. Then all bets are off. Other than that, yes, he's gone at the end of the year.
All right, moving on. Taheem, what did you take in the shot, sir?
All right, so my taking a shot is not necessarily taking a shot. It's just something to think about. So LeBron James, he just re-signed. His son will be in the NBA, we think, here in the near future. I think LeBron now, right now, he's just playing for championships, right? He's just trying to build a team, get as many championships as he can get. But once his son becomes eligible, I think his motives will shift. I think his main goal would be to play with his son. Now, let's say the year before his son is eligible, the Lakers win a championship. That means there is no way on God's green earth they can get that number one pick, right? Let's say a team knows that and sees that, and they tank that season, and they tank it to get his son just to get LeBron, because you'll be getting two players. Because I can see LeBron working his contracts out to the point where he's a free agent that same year that his son comes up in the draft, so that he can go to wherever his son goes. So it's kind of like if you can draft his son, you can go out and get him. And you might be able to get him for the low because he really just wants to play with his son, and he'll probably be a billionaire by that point anyway.
Yeah, he wants to do like a Ken Griffey.
Exactly. So the money won't be his, as important to him. So it might behoove a team to kind of look at the boards, look at the calendars, set it up right, and tank that season. What do you think? Or there might be teams out there that actually do that, is what I'm really trying to say.
Well, I have a question.
Yes.
Is he even, from all I've been seeing, Bronny isn't
that great of it. Yeah.
He's nowhere near his dad, but I mean, he's not even he's decent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that
I don't
and
think
that's
he's going 1 overall unless it's like hot, like he like no. Well, hey, it could happen, but I just
yeah,
don't.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, so I think his road to the NBA will be very traditional. I don't think he's going to come out of high school, go to college, do a year, and then come out. I think he's going to have to do the whole 4, maybe even 3. And I think the hype around him will just because it'll just be in his dad's namesake. So it'll be like we can take him now and get his dad. It won't be how good is this guy. It'll be like, hey, it's a 2-for-1. Why don't we just get the 2-for-1 now?
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that. So a few things. By the time Bronny's eligible for the NBA, the college rule will be out. Like that's in negotiations now, where he won't have to go to college. He could just come straight out of high school. So if he's good enough, he can just get drafted right from high school. So I think that's where um, the additional years that LeBron just signed for. I think that's kind of where it's set up now. Where once that contract is over, if Bronny's good enough to be drafted straight out of high school, they'll draft him, and then LeBron will go to wherever team he's at. Um, I mean, I agree. I think that's the ultimate goal for LeBron and his son to play on the same team. You know, LeBron, he doesn't look like he's slowing down much, but you
No, it
know,
really doesn't. Like
by the end of
if he
by the end
continues
of
to do
20,
the load management, I think he'll be good for another 4 or 5 years.
yeah, by the end of 2023, you know, I'm sure he would have lost a step or two, but he'll still be one of the top players in the NBA. And depending on where Bronny's at, they might whoever's in position to draft him. If he's the number 1 pick overall, then LeBron's going to go there. And I agree that wherever LeBron's son ends up at, that's where LeBron's going. It just really depends on like how good Bronny turns out, where it could be a great thing or it could just be like an okay thing. So
Yeah.
all right, moving on. Charles, what is your taking a shot, sir?
Well, I just want to kind of piggyback off of Todd's taking a shot, if I may, for a second.
Sure.
Is I think the NBA is driven by stars more than any other league. I think for a team, it's good. It'd be a better story than like it'd be a
Mhm.
better story than anything else. Like even if a team isn't that great, they'll just take them just to have headlines. And
Yep.
we have a huge disparity in popularity and revenue and shares in the NBA that's already really bad, and it's going to get nothing but worse if LeBron leaves. So I think teams will be either in a bidding war, or you might see a terrible team kind of get both of them, not to be a championship team, just to almost be like a attraction. You know what I mean? Come see them play, because Father Time is undefeated and LeBron is great now, but we all see the greats when they hit the wall, they all hit the wall.
Yeah,
Mhm.
this sounds scripted for the New York Knicks. To be honest with you, they're going to get
Oh, they're going to
LeBron.
sign to a max deal, not a
They,
super max
they're
deal.
going they're going to
Not
get
super max
they're
deal.
going to get they're going to get LeBron's son, who's a decent player, not great.
Yeah.
Then they're going to finally get LeBron James, who's 87 years old, and that's going to be the championship plan that we've had in the works for the last 5 years. This is
Oh yeah,
typical. This is written specifically for the New York Knicks, and
yeah. You're gonna see they're clearing out cap space right now because they want to get 2 supermax deals. They're gonna be the first team to sign a college player to a supermax deal right now.
yeah,
Let's
Um,
go Knicks.
only New York.
Only
But
New York, man.
all right, go ahead. See what's your taking a shot, sir.
This is my first taking a shot, and I've heard you guys take like numerous shots. I would have to say I'm gonna take it to the draft, and once again, kind of on the fly thinking. I've been thinking about like this a lot. That if Trevor Lawrence does not go to the Jets, there will be a huge move made by an NFC team. I'm not saying it's the Cowboys. I'm saying that if he pulls the Eli Manning and says, "Hey, I know you want me. I don't want you. I'll go back to school. I'll go be a Mormon and go on a religious quest. I'll go do something else. I'll be a hair model for all I care. But I ain't going to come there." There will be a huge move. They're already talking about teams it might be AFC, but I feel like it'll be an NFC team that jumps up to snatch him. And as long as it's not the Redskins or the Eagles, I'd be fine with it. And if it is the Cowboys, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day.
Yeah. Well, I think a prime team would be the Bears. The Bears are going to need a
That's one of the teams I
quarterback.
was thinking about.
They're going to need a quarterback, and they're going to they're not going to make the playoffs.
And
So
they're not afraid to give up a bunch of picks.
yeah, they did it for Mitch, and it failed.
And they did it for Khalil.
Yeah,
That'll put them so far in the hole. Like that team wouldn't be relevant for the next 8 years.
It's
Because
Trevor,
you could get Trevor Lawrence, but right now they don't have any good receiver. They got one good receiver,
Allen
and their
Robinson.
running game isn't great.
But isn't Tariq Cohen hurt?
Yeah, but he's a change of pace back. He's not no game
Okay,
changer.
Fair enough. Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I can see maybe Washington. Washington would be an interesting team to do that. We're going to get a new quarterback and a new name. Like that might be their marketing plan. Like who knows? But
and that team, and to tell you the truth, that Washington team isn't that bad.
No, they're not.
They got some good pieces.
Defensively, yeah, they're not bad at all. They're not.
The offensive side, they got weapons.
Yeah, I like McLaurin.
They got McLaurin, but after him, it's like a
the running game, the running back by committee. That's not bad either.
It looked like Walter Payton was back there against Dallas, but that's just
they were
Dallas
fucking shredding them. Like I was like, oh my god, yeah.
But no, I could see Washington making a move. Definitely the Bears. I don't think the Saints would have enough to get there because they're going to be in the playoffs.
I think the Saints is just going to roll with. I think.
Not the Cowboys. Who knows what they're going to do? Because more than likely they're going to have like a top 6 pick. So if they go along and keep doing what they're doing, yeah. So if the Cowboys end up in the top 5, top 6, who knows what they might can do something strange like offer Dak the 5th pick and like an offensive lineman or something. Do something stupid and move up to the 1st pick. Who knows?
A lot more than that. It's going to take a lot more than that because remember, it's going to be a bidding war if he opts not to go to the Jets.
Because I'm about to say
alignment, that's nothing at that point.
Yeah, because it's going to be the Jets that get the number 1, and I think the Jets make out either way. If they take Trevor Lawrence, they make out. If they don't take him, they still make out because they're going to get a boatload of draft picks, and they can just rebuild around Darnold, and they can get rid of Gase.
And they got a bunch of picks from the Jamal Adams deal.
Exactly. So
they're in the catbird seat.
The Jets might be in the playoffs next year.
Stop.
The Jets might be in the playoffs next year because
I know a lot of Jet fans that are going to be listening to this.
Yeah. Look who's in there. The division. You got the Patriots, is a bad team. I feel like they're a bad team. You got
Bills.
The Bills are a really good team.
Dolphins and
the Dolphins are on the fringe. I feel like they're making a lot of bad coaching mistakes because first of all, they should have never took Fitzmagic out. They should have let him play and just kept Tua on the bench. And then if the season was looking really bad, then you put Tua in. I think they lost some. I think they lost some guys in our locker room with doing that because it's just like you put Tua in, he gets hurt. Oh, now you go back to Fitz. You know what I'm saying? It's just
I just can't see the Jets going 0-16 and then going to the playoffs for next year. That would be historical. I would have to look that up. There's just no way.
I can see it because man, think about it. I think a lot of the issues is Gase. So
of course, but they're on offense. They have nothing. Like the only guy that
half of the first round is going to be
the only guy that's playing hard is Frank Gore, and that's a damn shame.
Yeah, he's 88. He's LeBron James.
They've neglected the offense for years. I mean, they took Denzel Mims in a year where you haven't had this many good wide receivers in like 25 years.
It seems like every good wide receiver is a rookie.
Yeah, and like they ended up with Denzel Mims, who was like middling at best. And their higher draft picks they have whiffed on, and they got a new GM. And I personally like Joe Douglas overall as a GM. I think that once he gets rid of Gase, because that wasn't a Joe Douglas hire. He inherited Gase. Once he gets rid of Gase, then I'll put Joe Douglas on the clock. But one of my good buddies is a Jet fan, and I'm here to tell him right now he ain't getting Trevor Lawrence, and they might relocate the Jets in a few years to Canada.
The Cantonese
They go
Jets.
from they go
It might
from
be
New
a-
York to they go from New York to Canada. Is wild.
Hockey
That's
might
wild.
have another Winnipeg Jets, but it's going to be football.
Yeah. All right. So round of applause for our taking a shot segment. All right, moving on to these NFL games upcoming this week. 49ers with an impressive victory over the Rams last week. They will be hosting the Buffalo Bills in Arizona, which is,
Mhm.
kind of weird. But currently the Bills are a 1-point road favorite. I think this is a really good game because I like Shanahan as a coach a lot. Like, even though he's limited with Mullins, he's still going to come up with a good game plan to make sure that they're playing at the best that they can play. They got some guys back. Richard Sherman was out there. I think he caught an interception last week, which was good.
Yeah, first game back, interception.
Yeah, so I think the 49ers, going forward, they're not going to be a pushover at all. As far as this game, I think the Bills, they have to keep winning because all of a sudden the Patriots, they're not too far behind, but for the Bills, they want to present themselves as, like, we're not, like, it's just not the Chiefs and the Steelers in the AFC. The Bills, we belong to. So I think they're going to try to come out on the road, show the NFL that, hey, we are here, we are a threat, and we deserve some respect too. So as far as this game betting wise, I think I would stay away from it. But if I was forced to pick a winner, I think I would go Buffalo Bills, but I could see the 49ers winning this game too. So Taim, I'll go to you, your team, your thoughts.
Um, this is a tough game. This is a tough game for a lot of reasons. The Bills are a pretty good team, but I think Shanahan right now is the best coach in the NFL because with his limited roster, every week they go out there, and if they don't win the game, they're pretty close to kicking somebody's ass. Um, Even when they had G String Jimmy, I feel like they were limited. I feel like this team is really a quarterback away. I feel like if they had a good mobile quarterback that could run Shanahan's offense, the 49ers would be basically the Chiefs that you see with a whole lot better defense. They would literally be running the league right now. But particularly just to stay in the realm of this game, you got the Bills who are going to be traveling to play a 49ers team that's not playing in their home stadium because Santa Clara, they shut it down. The county shut the game. Well, they shut it down and they won't let it be played in the stadium. So there's a lot of issues with that in itself. But because the Niners is still a limited team with that quarterback and the Bills is a defensive dominant team, I would go Bills in this game, even though I'm a 49ers fan. I'm not a stupid man. I would still go Bills.
All right. See your thoughts.
Okay. Looking into it a little bit, always looking at the spread. The 49ers are 7-2 against the spread in their last 9 games as the underdog. That's the first thing to look at. The Bills also went 16 years without a win on the West Coast. They're not good once they go west, and I don't care if it's Santa Clara, San Francisco, wherever. They just classically not good playing on the West Coast. We've seen Shanahan pull so many rabbits out of his hat this season, winning games. They win games they shouldn't win, and then they lose games they should win. Like they got blown out by the Dolphins. They should have taken care of that. They beat the Rams. They shouldn't have won that game. But when you look at it, Shanahan is 3-1 against McVay since he's been in there. So going into that, I was like, I'm not betting that game because Shanahan is kind of owning McVay right now. McVay's still a good coach, though. The stats you got to look at is the Buffalo offense is passing. They're 7, rushing. They're 21st. The 49ers rush defense is good. Not great, but it's good. And the Buffalo's is a better passing team than they are a running team. Like they're better when Josh Allen is going over the top to Diggs or going deep to the tight ends. Not really the ground and pound that you would expect. Like this modern Buffalo team is not what you'd expect it to immediately look like with a mobile quarterback who bombs it down the field. You expect them to be a more meat and potatoes team, judging by where they play. All that being said, I'm gonna go straight up. If it was going money line, I'd go 49ers. Spread, I'd go 49ers. But we're just going straight up, I'd go Bills.
All right, moving on. All right, see, let's get to it. Cowboys at Ravens next Tuesday night.
Cue the
Ravens.
Undertaker WWF music.
Ravens are a 7.5-point home favorite.
Oh, that's it.
Lamar Jackson probably plays that game. He should be recovered by then. I expect the Cowboys to go in there and get blown out. That performance against the the Washington football team, excuse me, was kind of just like I was literally disgusted, and I just couldn't believe what I was watching. Washington is not a great team. They're not even a good team. They're like okay. Their defensive line, of course, all first round picks on the defensive line. I don't know how many times I've seen people tweet that as if it's like breaking news. But yeah, like the Cowboys, they get a good win against the Vikings on the road. We think things have turned around, and then we play the Washington football team, and we're in the game, and then McCarthy makes some of the most horrendous calls I've ever seen in the NFL. That fake punt, I literally like once that play was blown up, I kind of just stopped watching the game. I got dressed, went to my parents' house, and that was that because I just couldn't watch anymore. I was done. But as far as this game, I don't expect anything from the Cowboys. Like our linebacking core, Van Der Esch is okay. He's pretty good. Jalen Smith doesn't know where the ball is at. He doesn't know where the football is at. So he's just running around. Sean Lee, he knows the game, but he's too old now to play the game. So he's only on the field for like 20 snaps. So we can't really do anything there. And then let me get started on the secondary. We can't cover a twin bed. So it's just horrible football from top to bottom on the defense. On offense, Andy Dalton, I thought he could, come in and replace Dak last summer. Clearly wrong about that. See, I apologize for all the text messages I sent to you.
I was waiting for that.
This is like the president. This is like the presidential debates. I'm gonna let you go. I'm not saying anything. You are Shiz Bayless. I'm gonna let Shiz Bayless get off.
And Shiz Bayless.
Good Shiz Bayless.
Yeah.
Shannon Ransom real quick, and then we'll go at like.
So I remember texting C for maybe like this probably went on for like 18 months.
Oh,
I text him like, hey, I think Andy Dalton could come in and do Dak's job, and
for 21 million.
For 20 million, and once Dak went down, and Andy Dalton came in, I was like, damn. I wasn't expecting this to really happen. Like I was just talking. I was just talking. And it's just been awful. Zeke can't run the ball without Dak. The offense just looks like complete nonsense. CeeDee Lamb looked great with Dak. Now with Dalton, he's still okay, but you just see that there's clearly a level that Dak is above Andy Dalton. And that's why the offense can't get going. And then, as I said, McCarthy, these analytics. People love analytics for some reason in football and in sports in general. It doesn't work. Like, what part of analytics or what part of common sense tells you, you know what, we're on our own 30. Let's go for a fake punt here. What part of the analytics says to do that? Or also earlier in the game where it's 3rd and 1, we run a jet sweep to CeeDee Lamb, and then it's 4th and 1, we throw a out route to CeeDee Lamb when we have a $90 million running back who can get us a yard. I don't care if he's a shell of himself, but he can get us that 1 yard. That's bad coaching, and that's analytics-driven nonsense. And at the end of the day, I expect the Cowboys to get blown out in this game, embarrassed once again on national television, and I'm kind of numb to it now. And again, see, I apologize for all my Dak slander, and the floor is yours to rebuttal that.
You know what, man? First of all, we already had a conversation. You know what I mean, behind the scenes. It takes a man to admit when he was wrong, and you immediately admitted that first game. Like, you sent me that meme. You know which meme I'm talking about, and I said, all right, it's all is forgiven, never forgotten, but forgiven. But on that note, we're living in the past. This is the president of the Cowboys. I've been saying it since Dak's foot got damn near removed from his body that we need to get a top draft pick, because to me, it's all about what's the return. It's all about the return, just like in business. Okay, so we're doing this to get what out of it. So if we go to and we win an NFC East title, that's like having monopoly money. That means it means nothing. So if we get a top 5, top 6 pick, that's beautiful. With this roster as it's presently constructed, especially if we get a lineman and Dak comes back 100%, it's gorgeous. So with me, Shiz, you and I have gone back and forth on that to that effect numerous times.
Every Sunday.
I know where you stand on it. You want the NFC East. I want the future. We will probably be the Hatfields and McCoys with that till the cows come home. But I heard you a little while ago saying, "Oh, maybe we get a top 6 pick." But if we win the NFC, well, you know what, the NFC East you might win the division with 6 wins. So we might actually be able to both achieve what we both want. To be honest with you, you know what I mean? Yeah, I didn't even write anything down for this game. They should lose. They should. They should lose. I'm
trying to imagine Jalen Smith trying to track down Lamar Jackson.
Jalen Smith is not as terrible as you say he is. Like he makes bad plays, but like he makes, we don't even need to get into this Cowboys thing, man. Like
he's just like super athletic, but he can't diagnose the plays. So he does look like he's just running around.
That's why he's
out there blind. He's out there blind. Like I'm gonna just run until I hit something. Like it could be his own teammate. That's what he does.
He's like behind his face mask. He's probably breathing real hard.
Yeah.
For nothing.
All right. Any thoughts on this game, Saheem? Do you think the Cowboys have a chance, or should we just?
No, I actually just bet. I took the money line against the Cowboys, so I picked the Ravens in the money line.
That's of course.
That's a smart thing to do.
That's about as safe as a bet as you can get. That's like, I don't want to get a chick pregnant, so I'm just gonna abstain. Like that. That's
exactly. I'm just not going over her house.
That's a sure bet, and taking that game with the money line is the second safest bet after absence.
Yeah. All right, moving on. I mean, as much as a shit show as the Cowboys are, the Eagles might be even worse.
And they have their franchise quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. They have their franchise quarterback.
The guy who is so good, he's so much better than Dak.
Yeah, and I gotta
admit, looking at those numbers.
Yeah, and I admit that at the beginning of the season, I thought that Wentz was better than Dak, and I have no idea what is going on with this Eagles team. Like, it's not even a health issue anymore. Like most of those guys are back. Yeah. They made a horrible decision in drafting Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. That was
they did the same thing. They passed on DK Metcalf too.
They're extremely questionable. And now I'm not sure if Wentz starts the remainder of the season. Like he's going to start against the Packers, I would imagine. I expect them to get blown out. The spread is currently Packers minus 8.5. So depending on the effort put forth in that game, if the Packers beat them by 3 touchdowns, I think they're just going to give Jalen Hurts a shot. But if they compete, then Wentz will keep his job. But at the end of the day, we're seeing some historic stuff with Wentz in a bad way, that his passer rating has dropped to a level where it was like it's dropped from one level to the next, where it's like Peyton Manning bad when he was with the Broncos that final year, or like Joe Theismann bad like his final years of playing. So I don't know what to say. I'm not sure what the Eagles do. I don't expect them to win this game at all. And future-wise, I think they have to get rid of Doug Peterson. Like, how do you continue on with the way they're playing? Like, how can you do that? I mean, the honeymoon phase with that Super Bowl should be over by now. If it wasn't, it definitely is currently. And I just don't – I'm not sure what they do. And, as mad as I get at the Cowboys, at least I can fall back and say, we're playing with a backup. The Eagles, their franchise quarterback is in. They have their weapons, and there's really no excuse for it, and I'm not sure what's going to take place. Saheem, your thoughts?
The Eagles are a shit show. like just straight up. They don't know what they don't, I don't know who's running the team. Isn't the owner of the team like he hates going to the games now because he hates to see Wentz struggle. Like he didn't go to one of the games.
Yeah, he was at the previous game, but
Lori loves Wentz, man. Loves him.
Yeah, but so I think, but no, the last game he was at, but I think the game before that he didn't go to or something like that. Yeah, but if we're just talking about who's going to win this game. It's going to be Packers all day, just because the Eagles can't get their shit together.
Mm-hmm.
All right, see your thoughts.
Yeah. Again, we've been on opposite sides of this fence, Shiz. And I'm glad. Once again, I think this is the year of you seeing the light now. And welcome. I've been saying that he's not that great for years. And this is just proof positive. He leads the league in interceptions and missed targets. Those are two stats that if you're a top 10 or top 15 quarterback, you don't want to lead the league in. Even if you're any quarterback in the NFL, you don't want to do that. Packers have only lost one game at home this year. The Packers are the Mike Tyson of the NFL to me, meaning that if you get physical with them and you run right at them, they will fold. This is not the game where they will get run right at and they will not fold. This is a comfortable play play with a lead for Rodgers, and that's where he's most comfortable. He does his best work. There's really no excuse. They do have some injuries. Their center is going to be out. Their offensive line is good but not great, but it's not horrible. It's the problem with this situation is they did sign him to that contract and it's set up badly. A lot of contracts look big on paper, but it's structured well. The Wentz contract is structured a little tough. It will be a costly cut if they do decide to walk away from him.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Lurie loves him. Doug Peterson adores him. The city of Philadelphia has really attached their hearts and their minds to his wagon. It's going to be a tough divorce. The Eagles hold on too long to things. Donovan McNabb, Andy Reid. This might be that situation where they hold on a little too long. As a Cowboys fan, I'm happy if they hold on, they keep doing this. As a football fan, it's idiocy. But there's really no excuse. It's a bunch of bad drafting. Wentz is too deer in headlights. Tries to do too much. Every play is the last play of the game with Carson Wentz. And
he kind of looks that way. Definitely looks that way.
Yeah, like every play he's got to win one for the Gipper with this kid, and that's just not how the game is played. And the Packers should win comfortably.
All right, moving on. We have the New York Football Giants visiting the Seahawks. Seahawks 10-point home favorites. Giants are expecting to play this game with old Colt McCoy. I mean, Giants have, at least the Giants, I'll give them credit for, playing with pride and playing with passion. Like Joe Judge, I thought it was a horrible hire, but he's proven to be, an adequate coach. Like he gets to, no matter what, they have a talent deficiency, but I think Joe Judge gets the most out of his players, and that's the signs of a good coach. So I'll give him credit there. As far as this game, the Seahawks, they're just way better from top to bottom. The defense now is making strides with Jamal Adams, getting there. Bobby Wagner, all pro type player. Pete Carroll's a defensive guy, so it was only but so long he was just going to allow his defense to be historically bad. So once that defense, just becomes an average defense to go along with that offense, they're going to be tough to beat. But in regards to this game, the Giants, I give them no shot with Colt McCoy. Like, it's Colt McCoy. It's Colt. So it's this is going to be blowout city, and the Giants, they're I think odds wise they are the favorite to win the NFC East at this point. But this game, it's going to be a stiff reminder that you only have 4 wins this season, and those are my thoughts. C, what are your thoughts on this game?
I agree with what you said about Joe Judge. We talked about this. I was like, oh, good, they done stepped on a landmine, but but it was good. But it's good though. So far so good. Let me say that. So far so good. I think they're a frisky team. I wouldn't call them dangerous. I wouldn't call them. They're on the come up. They're not a dangerous team yet. They're frisky. They could give you some fits. They literally their biggest loss outside of Pittsburgh when they got blown out outside of San Francisco when they got blown out was Pittsburgh 10 points. Everything was 10 points or less. They literally have been in every single game. Their rushing defense is top 5. Their passing defense is top 10. I would wager, and we all know how many yards the Seahawks are 32nd in the league yards per game. Now they've improved with some other statistics, but they're still in the 30, 31, or 32 as far as overall yards per game giving up. If Danny Dimes had been healthy, I might have said this is like that classic, like they underestimated the Giants because they are frisky and NFL's at any given Sunday league to a T. Anybody could win at any time. So, yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks. I absolutely am taking the Seahawks, especially with Colt 45 McCoy in. But other than that, yeah, that's if Danny Dimes was in, this would have been a very interesting game. It'd have been a very interesting mix of like what the Giants do well, the Seahawks don't do well, and vice versa.
Got you. All right, Taim, your thoughts.
Yeah, I give New York no shot, especially with Colt 45 in, and they're traveling to the West Coast to play the Seahawks. Anytime you got Metcalf out there, you got a chance to win. Anytime you got Russell Wilson out there, you got a chance to win. I think the only thing that's holding this team back is that defense, which is a crazy thing because, the last decade, the Seahawks were known for having, one of the best defenses in the NFL. I just think this is a off year for them defensive-wise, but I still think they're going to win this game.
All right.
They did come up when they got that Dunlap pick was excellent. They have like something like 19
because they had no pass rush. They had no pass rush.
Yeah, he's helped a lot.
He
He developed a foot issue in his last game, but hopefully, it's not too serious and he can still play.
Yeah, they lead the league in sacks since they picked him up.
Yeah. And all right, moving on to possibly the worst team in NFL history, we have the Jets hosting the Vegas Raiders. I mean, I propose that we stop talking about the Jets going forward. Like, it's only but so much pounding we can do in bashing them. They suck. Like, it's no way around it. Darnold, this is another mistake that I made in regards to the Cowboys. I said maybe the Cowboys can give up like a second-round pick to get Darnold on the cheap, let Dak walk. But Darnold, it just seems that he doesn't have it. Like last week, he was making the same mistakes that he's been making his whole career. Like, scrambling right or scrambling left and throwing against his body. He can't do that in the NFL. So he hasn't learned his lesson yet. That could be due to bad coaching or he's just a bad quarterback. But one way or another, he's not going to be with the Jets next year. This team is horrible. And, I feel bad for Frank Gore because, he's going to be an 8th ballot Hall of Famer, but he might have a 0-16 record on his resume. And while I do feel bad for him, he knew what he was signing up for. He knew this team was going to be bad. So it is what it is. But in regards to this game, Vegas coming off and getting embarrassed by the Falcons, I expect them to bounce back, win this game handily. They covered the 8.5 by a lot. And those are my thoughts. Taheem, your thoughts?
Man, this is like you said, this is Jets. I don't want to talk about it. We already know who's going to win this game.
All right, see your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it short and sweet right now, and that's for one of my really, really, really good buddies is a diehard, long-suffering Jets fan, and all I got to say is like, dog. They're gonna go 0-16 and Trumpito lost in the same year. 2020 has been rougher than rough for some people, and there is no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow because you're not getting Trevor Lawrence.
So real quick with the Trevor Lawrence thing, I think
Trevor Lawrence will say he had COVID for a whole year.
If Gase is out of there, if Gase is confirmed to be gone, I think Trevor goes. That's what I think.
If culture overall too in the roster.
Like if they get like
gone and they get behind me, I'd go.
Yeah.
I don't want Bieniemy to go there. Oh, God, man.
I think there's going to be a couple openings that are going to be great for Eric B to go to. Like I think the Chargers is going to become open.
Yes.
I think
I was going to say that. Yep.
I think the Falcons. Their cap situation is bad, but they got some talent.
I think you said it best, man. The Chargers.
I think the
Yeah,
Chargers.
Great spot for him. I'd love to see him because just as a black coach, I don't want to see him go to the ninth rung of hell. That is the New York Jets. Like, you know what I mean? That you're just asking for a pay for 2 years.
Yeah, because when they're bad, they're gonna try to blame it on him, but it's not really him. It's just like that team is horrible. But again, they're gonna have they're gonna have the first 15 draft picks. So
yeah, well, Eric B, if you're listening to this podcast, stay away.
Stay away, bro. Stay away, my brother.
Stay out of Jersey.
Stay away. All right, moving on. We're gonna have a little quick rapid fire. It's called Who Would You Bet On? So we're just gonna go through the rest of the NFL games in quick 1 sentence, 2 sentence. We're gonna pick. I'll mention the spread, but we're just gonna pick the overall winners. Just in case if you're doing like a pick and pool at work, or
or if you're on that DraftKings, you want to put up some money.
If you want DraftKings, you want to do a money line parlay.
Oh, that's
something along those lines.
I'm trying to be a millionaire.
All right, so first game,
Dan Bilzerian.
So we have first game, Browns versus Titans. Titans 6-point favorites. My opinion, I think the Titans win this game, but as far as the spread, I think the Browns cover because they run the ball well, and the Titans defense is not that good against the run. Tell me your thoughts.
Same here.
Yeah.
See any thoughts?
It's literally like the number one running attack versus the number 2 running attack. So this is going to be the track bowl. The Cleveland found a formula and it works, but the Titans perfected that formula last year. I'm taking the Titans. God is the best offensive coordinator for the Browns because the games that they win, it's horrible weather.
Yeah.
And unless they have horrible weather, unless God turns the faucet on or turns that ice machine on, they're not going to win. So yeah, I'm going with the Titans.
All right, next game, Jags visited the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings 10.5-point home favorites. Money line. Vikings easily win this game. As far as the spread, Jags are a sneaky team. Mike Glennon, a vet, he might be able to put up some points, but we're just going to do money line Vikings easily.
Yeah, I got money lines Vikings, and I don't think Jags cover the spread.
Shiz, real quick before I go in, would you take Mike Glennon for 1 year for $8 million?
That would be a hard.
I'm talking to Shiz right now.
That would be a hard hell no.
All right, good. Thank you. He's still with us.
Mike Glenn is suiting up for the Cowboys, man. I rather just give me Ben DiNucci at that point, like that. Let's roll with that. I'll just roll with that.
Still with us. All right. Yeah, the Jags they're not a frisky team. They're a fluky team. Like they'll have some flashes of brilliance, but Kirk the jerk, he seems to, he's been doing decent in spots this year, more spots than Mike Glennon. So I'll go with overall with the Vikings. I do want to say one thing though. I don't like how Shad Khan, I don't like how he fired Shao Khan. I don't like
Shaka Khan.
I don't like how whatever you want to call him. I don't know. I don't like why he fired Jim Caldwell and not anybody else. Like you fired the GM because your team is being coached horribly and you don't have players. That's like firing the cook because your waiters are horrible at a restaurant. That's so stupid.
Yeah,
that's what they do in India.
It's it must be. It must be because I think that was a horrible move. And once again, I like to see minority owners and coaches, and to lose one in that way, it's like you fire the coach and the GM. You don't just fire the GM. What is that going to do? What did that do? Now you don't have a GM. You know what I mean? Like idiot move by an idiot franchise, which is par for the course for them. Vikings all day.
Yeah. All right. Next game, Bengals at Dolphins. Bengals, they don't have a quarterback. Dolphins, they have. I think Fitzpatrick will probably start again. Mm-hmm. Dolphins are 11.5-point favorite. I mean, nothing really to say. Dolphins win and cover this game. That's it.
Same.
All right, moving on. We have the Colts visiting the Houston Texans. The Colts are a 3.5-point road favorite, which is interesting. Deshaun Watson has been playing at an MVP level lately. They're not since the record is so poor, he's not going to get a lot of votes. But he's been playing lights out lately. So this is a very, very dangerous game for the Colts. I'm not sure if they can. I'm not sure if the Texans can win this game, but covering that 3.5, I would go Texans there. So I would say Texans plus 3.5. Yes, money line Colts.
Same.
Exactly the same.
All right, moving on. We have the New Orleans Saints playing against the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are a 2.5 point home underdog. Falcons are one of those teams, man. The bettors love them because once the season is lost, they still have enough talent to still win games. For example, last week, the Raiders were, I think they were like 4.5 point road favorites in Atlanta, and Atlanta blew them out. So these are the type of traps that casual bettors fall into where they're just looking at record and not actual like handicapping the game. And with this, but with this game, though, the Saints they match up well against the Falcons. Like the Falcons, they're when it comes to the Saints, they just have problems all the time. And with this game, even with Taysom Hill, I see the Saints taking care of business here. So I'll take the Saints to cover the spread and of course win the game.
I think the Saints will cover, but I don't think they're going to win.
Well, the Saints are the favorite. So
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, the Saints aren't going to win.
so you think the Falcons will win?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think it'll be a close game, but I think the Falcons are going to win that game.
Shiz, I like what you said about like when you're doing certain things like these certain matchups, you got to handicap, like you got to really do your research and look into it. Classically, the Saints have been owning the Falcons in recent memory, like for the last few years. Also, Sean Payton, that is undefeated without Drew Brees in his career. I think he's one of the best situational coaches of all time, meaning from week to week, he can figure it out and find a way to win. Now, in the playoffs, it's a whole different story. I think they're snake bitten, but that's another story. Interdivision rivalries can always be a coin flip, but I comfortably, even with Taysom Hill or famous Jameis Winston, I'm still taking the Saints based upon everything else.
All right,
Money
next
line and spread.
All right, next game. Rams visiting the Cardinals. Rams are 2.5 point road favorites, which is very interesting. This is a really, really tough game to call. This is probably one. This is Cardinals have been kind of sliding after a really good start. Rams, after losing a game to the 49ers that they probably feel they should not have lost. They're going to be motivated. The Cardinals with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is not 100%. That shoulder's probably bothering him. Jalen Ramsey on DeAndre Hopkins. He'll be able to slow him down a little bit. Aaron Donald probably wants to put Kyler Murray out for the rest of the season. So, tough game. I'm not going to bet it, but if I was forced to pick, I'd probably take the Rams to win and cover this game. So I would say the Rams win by like 3 points, which would be enough to cover. So my pick would be the Rams in this game.
Same.
Yeah, I mean, the golf can look awful, man, and he has looked awful lately. Like 3 of his last 4 games, he threw at least 1 pick. The other, that was 1 game. The other 3, he had 2. I don't know. Like, to me, I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Arizona is like a good team that plays bad. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, or like a smart team that plays dumb.
I think they overachieve.
Yeah, I agree with Tahim.
Really?
I think they're overachievers. I think they're overachievers.
With that roster, they're overachieving.
I think.
I think Kyler. I think in the beginning of the season, Kyler Murray was overachieving. Don't get me wrong; he is a good quarterback, but I just don't think teams were ready for how dynamic of a runner he was. Because I think that's what kind of snuck up on teams and allowed them to beat teams. He's a lot better. I think he's a better runner than Lamar Jackson is, because he's not looking to run. But if you close in on him, he will get out of there and he will get like 20 yards. And he doesn't take hits. He's a lot better at Lamar Jackson on avoiding the hits.
Yeah.
And he's a shorter guy, so you don't anticipate him having such a strong arm, because he can throw that football down the field. But I think now, as the season goes on, I think defensive coordinators kind of look at him and they game plan a little piece of that defensive scheme for him getting out of the pocket and for they have more accountability for his arm. So I think they were overachieving.
Yeah, I tend to agree with the whole, like, Kyler Murray's a better runner and he does know how to get down. For a running quarterback, you got to do that. Russell perfected that as well. Guys like RG3 did not.
No.
Vic too. He wasn't a get down type of guy, slide guy. But see, I just can't overlook the talent that they have in skill positions to say they're overachieving. I just feel like if they got their act together, me personally, you guys can disagree. I think it's Cliff Kingsbury. I didn't like the hire when he got hired. I didn't like the Steve Wilkes firing. First of all, I thought
he wasn't that good. Wilkes.
I mean, he had a bad team and he had 1 year. You know what I mean? You didn't give him.
The 1 year was bad, but I don't think, like, if they gave him another year, he would have been able to turn things around.
With this team, but Steve Wilkes walked in and you handed him a fixed deck, and then in a poker game, and then you're wondering why he can't win. It wasn't a fair fight for him to begin with. But that, once again, that's another story. I just think I feel like with their offense and how explosive it can be, their defenses. Patrick Peterson to me is on the downslide of his career. I think it's Cliff Kingsbury. I think it's a classic case of he didn't really do much in college, and he's not really going to do much in the pros. But he's going to get a heck of a lot longer leash than Wilkes did, sadly. And then that's that. But all that being said, I'm taking LA.
All right, moving on. This is my favorite bet of the week. Patriots visiting the Chargers. Patriots 1 point road favorite. So I'll preface this by saying I'm always for a black man keeping his job, but this Anthony Lynn, he got to go, man. He makes some of the worst coaching decisions. And, like, the Chargers always find ways to lose games, and that's just a sign of a bad coach.
It might be last
week. Last week, the Chargers are on the 2-yard line, no timeouts. Lynn calls a run, and that, like, why would you do that? Like you have no timeouts. You call a running play, you don't get it. You spike the ball, and then you do a QB sneak, you don't get it. Like, come on, man. And it's just a constant theme with this Anthony Lynn. So now here you got Bill Belichick, probably the greatest coach ever, against Anthony Lynn. It's a flat out coaching mismatch. And you know how Belichick does against rookie quarterbacks. He makes them play left-handed. It's not fun for them. So only having to cover 1 point, minimal crowd, if any. Give me the Patriots all day long. Give me the 1 point. They will cover that.
Same.
Yeah, I feel like, as bad as the Chargers organization is with the Spanos family and all that, this might be a Justin Herbert audition for the Pats. Like, this might be like when a burglar drives by the house to see if he can, like, how he can break in. I feel like this is like Belichick's drive by. Like, let me see if I can fleece this team out of Justin Herbert. Like, let me see what I can get for him. But I all jokes aside, I do also hate to see a black coach, executive, whatever, lose their job. But I'm all out of excuses. The excuse well has done run dry for Anthony Lynn.
Big time.
It's barren right now. So you know what? You got to go, man. You might be one of those guys that's better as a coordinator as well, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is a good bet for the Chargers. As good a bet as the Pats are going to get all year.
All right, moving on. We have the Denver Broncos visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are overwhelming 13.5 point favorite.
Do they have a quarterback that's going to play?
I think the quarterbacks are back, so I'm assuming it's going to be Drew Lock.
Not that
they signed somebody too. I can't remember who it was.
Who they signed? Taheem You?
I wish.
Like, what the like?
Yeah, so obviously the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win this game, but 13.5, I think I might roll with the Broncos here because division games are always different, always difficult, and 13.5 points is just a lot for a division matchup. So of course the Chiefs will win, but 13.5, I'll take Drew Lock and the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, it's a big number. It's a big number. I feel like the Broncos are like the Warriors from that big 72 win year, or the 73-9 year. They have a tendency to kind of take their foot off the gas a little bit. Just in my personal opinion, they're like, oh, we got to play now. All right, good, and then they can kind of fall asleep a little bit. But yeah, it's too big a number, and it's the Denver Broncos. That's all we think.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and to conclude, we have the Washington football team visiting the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers are 8.5-point home favorite. Steelers are a wacky team to bet because they play down to the competition, and they can play up to the competition. Washington, they're going to be well rested because they haven't played since Thanksgiving. Their defense will keep them in a lot of games, but Alex Smith against that Pittsburgh defense, I don't trust it at all. So I would of course think that the Steelers are going to win this game. 8.5 is a bit tricky, but I think I would lay the number 2. So that would be my pick: Steelers with the 8.5 points.
100%.
Yeah. It's, outside of that Patriots and Chargers game, this is about as short because it's not such a huge number. Yeah, for sure. And for the record, Steeler Nation, calm down. You guys have had a cupcake schedule this whole year. Like, get out of here. You've been barely playing teams this whole year. I don't want to hear about that. You've been playing Mexican Football League teams half this year.
Yeah. All right, so round of applause for the NFL. All right, moving on to the association. We had a huge trade. Russell Westbrook has been traded to the Washington Wizards for John Wall in the first-round pick. For the Wizards, I guess it's an upgrade because I just think that Russell Westbrook plays a bit harder. He's going to give it 100% every single game. John Wall, great athlete, great player, but he literally hasn't played in 2 years, so huge question mark with him. But as far as the Wizards, I'm not sure if this is enough to keep Bradley Beal there. He's going to be up for free agency very soon, and depending on how they mesh, that's going to determine like what Bradley Beal does. And just looking at the East, I'm not sure if the Wizards even make the playoffs. Like they have like so. This is the East right now. The Bucks are going to make the playoffs, of course. Raptors, Celtics, Pacers, Heat, 76ers, and Nets. So that's 7 teams. 7 teams already. So here's where the battle starts. Orlando, who made the playoffs last year, they might can slip out. But then you have Atlanta. Atlanta made some big upgrades this offseason. They should be much improved. So they will be a formidable opponent for that 8 seed. And then, of course, the Wizards. So while I do think the Wizards have gotten better, I'm not sure if it's enough for them to make the playoffs. Now, as far as the Houston Rockets, I don't know what the hell they're doing. It's pretty much the same type of player, but, less healthy. James Harden is not going to pass him the ball because he can't shoot. John Wall needs the ball in his hands to get to the basket to create plays. And we don't know his health. Like he's been out of the NBA for literally over 700 days. So we don't know if he's good enough to or healthy enough to play. And as far as like the contract, he's still signed for like 2-3 more years. James Harden wants to be traded to the Nets. I think the Houston Rockets is a huge mess right now. I don't understand that move. But as far as the playoffs, I think the Wizards might be able to sneak into an 8th seed. I think the Rockets will probably still make the playoffs because James Harden is that good. But long term, this is just a bad deal for both teams.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't understand what the motive was behind this trade.
I mean, money wise, it fits,
yeah,
but still.
But the teams really don't get better. They equalize. They kind of equal out again. You know what I mean? Because like you were saying, Westbrook and Wall are kind of like the same guy. When you talk about playing, Westbrook plays a little harder though. And then at the same, like you said, we haven't seen John Wall shoot a basketball in 2 years. So
All right.
Yeah.
See your thoughts.
Yeah. I've never been a Westbrook fan. I believe that he's a one-dimensional player. He's ball dominant.
Yep.
He's injury prone. He is one of those players that is the most dangerous type of superstar because he relies solely on his athletic talent rather than technical ability to succeed. Just like in boxing or MMA or anything else, once those physical abilities start to erode a little bit, you're nowhere near the player that you once were. All the greats adapt. He has made no effort to adapt. And on top of all of that, he's a head case. So I just think it was addition by subtraction to move on off of Russell Westbrook. That being said, like Todd just said, I think it was kind of even as far as negatives because I mean John Wall hasn't played in 2 years, and it's different. If a guy misses a lot of time in football, it can be a good thing because his body is getting a chance to rest and not be constantly bombarded and impacted by the physicality of the sport. This is completely different because it's a much quicker, fast moving, fast pace. You have to be your elasticity has to be down. Your like everything has to be right body wise. You can't, or you're gonna get hurt again. So he could step out on the court and get hurt the first couple of weeks because he hasn't played in 2 years. So I like the addition by subtraction by the Rockets, but their house is burning down, and just because you threw some family heirlooms out the window and they didn't get burned doesn't mean your house is still not burning down. So yeah, and I don't know if they're gonna be. I don't know if the Wizards are gonna be a playoff team. I doubt it.
All right. So moving on to the Los Angeles Lakers. First of all,
Tell Bradley Beal to come over to L.A.
nah, stop. All right. Well, first of all, round of applause for UC, Lakers fan.
Lakers and Dodgers. It's been what a time to be alive.
Yeah, what a time. So with the Lakers, they spent some money over the past couple of days. They signed LeBron to a 2-year, $85 million extension, and then Anthony Davis, they signed him to a 5-year, $190 million deal. So they locked them up for a very long time. And the Lakers overall, they've improved. They added Montrezl Harrell. They added Dennis Schroeder. They added Wesley Matthews. Like, they won a title and didn't sit on their hands. They improved the team, and right now they look like the team to beat for sure. Clippers, you got Paul George, talking, running his mouth. He's becoming like more and more unlikable by the day. That's why Montrez probably left. Then other teams in the West, Rockets we just talked about, they got worse. Portland, they've improved, I guess, but they're not good enough. Denver, the next year, we'll see if they can step it up. But overall, I think the biggest challenge is going to be the Nets. Like, if they can stay healthy, the Nets with KD and Kyrie and that, and the supporting cast, they probably present the biggest challenge for the Lakers. But even with that, the combo of LeBron and Anthony Davis is just a lot to deal with. Kevin Durant would probably have to play the best of his career in order to win a series against them. So yeah, that's where it stands with me. Like, I think the Lakers are the prohibitive favorite. I don't see any team in the West beating them, and the only team I can see is probably the Nets, but they got a lot of work to do themselves, mainly just staying healthy. So, see your team, your thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, the Lakers needed to do three things. Well, first of all, they had a really good offseason so far because we weren't sitting around waiting for the Herbert Deluxe that is Kawhi to be, to be half weird and like do whatever he decided to do, and he kind of like led us astray, and we waited too long on him. We waited way too long. So now Rob Pelinka was able to go out and make the moves that were befitting of this team. He's a good executive. He's a little Hollywood, but they're in Hollywood. They needed to get younger at the point guard position. They did that. They needed to make sure by luck that the guy that they lost, didn't go to the Clippers. He didn't. They needed to get younger. They did. They needed to get third or fourth scorers. They did that. That's actually four things. But if I had boxes that me and one of my good buddies, we're both Laker fans, we had like, oh, we need to do these 4 or 5 things. They literally did all those things. I didn't love losing Dwight, but he's mercurial. Like he's a head case and he's a diva too, so he can he can get the hell out for all I care. We got Gasol, the Mark Gasol, and if he can give you 20 good minutes, situationally, I'll take it. So yeah, they get an A+ for this offseason. And as far as like competition, you got two head cases in Brooklyn. Even if they're healthy, I don't see them. I don't see them on.
Yeah, I don't think that New York Nets thing is gonna last.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I agree 100%.
Kyrie thinks the Earth is flat. That shit ain't gonna work.
Yeah, they're both divas, and on their best day, they can be a little testy. So yeah, no. Like I said, A+ for the Lakers. Keep up the good work, Rob.
All right, Taheem, any thoughts?
Yeah, man, the Lakers did what they need to do to create a dynasty. They didn't want to go out and just win one year. They're looking forward in the future. They put a lot of pieces in place, to keep that going. They kept LeBron, they kept AD, they improved their bench. And I think next year, if they win the championship in the offseason, they're going to pretty much do the same thing. They're going to cut all of the dead weight that really didn't contribute, and they're going to go out and try to plug those holes. So they did a good job.
All right. Round of applause for basketball. All right, moving on to some hip hop news. The Grammy nominees came out for Best Rap Album, and I like the list a lot. I thought there was I like the list -1. The D Smoke Black. I'm not even familiar.
I never even listened to that album. I don't know who. I don't even know who D Smoke is.
See, you like you're heavy into the outskirts, the outer skirts of hip hop. Who is this guy?
I'm into the outer skirts of hip hop. Before I can answer that question,
you're to the cornfields of hip hop.
Exactly. You into the cornfields of hip hop. So who is this guy?
If by you saying that means I'm knowledgeable about all realms of music, I'll happily take that. But
that's what I meant.
But that being said, like D Smoke, it sounds like a dude that would come into a barbershop and give you a CD.
Yeah,
like, I never.
Now he's a Grammy nominee.
Yeah, and now he went from barbershop CD to Grammy nominee, like 2020. Yeah, no, I never heard of the guy. Never heard of him.
But yeah, the other albums is Alfredo by Freddie Gibbs, Written Testimony by Jay Electronica and Jay-Z.
No, that's Jay-Z.
Yeah, that was a Jay-Z album that Jay Electronica said some weird shit on here and there.
Yo, I'm still.
Yeah, there's multiple universes. Y'all gotta get in tune. Hold on, Jay, get in here, and then Jay would just spit something.
Yeah, King Disease by Nas, and then The Allegory by Royce da 5'9".
Yeah,
my personal favorite.
Oh God, I know what you're gonna say.
No. So,
because Busta Rhymes is not on it.
So my personal favorite. It's a coin flip.
It might be nominated next year.
It's a coin flip between King's Disease by Nas and Alfredo by Freddie. Those are my two favorites from this year. I mean, from the list. My favorite album of the year was "Pray for Paris" by Westside Gunn. I thought by far that was the best album.
I don't think they're ever going to let a Westside Gunn album on there.
Never.
I mean, if you're going to let a Freddie album on there, why not let Westside on there?
No, it's too
different.
And then you got to realize that Alchemist, that was more like a joint project too, like a concept album.
Yeah.
They sure picked a heck of a time to give a real mediocre Nas album a Grammy nomination. There's plenty of other albums. This is his Disease was. Woo, man,
this was his 444. This was a good album, but I like this. This is what
Nas has not made a good album in like at least 20 years.
This is probably
and that's from a diehard Nas fan.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'm a huge Nas fan.
This is his best album since Godson.
Yeah, Godson was 2002. So all right, so 18.
Yeah,
okay.
but he's had other albums in there between, but They were some of them albums were really bad.
Real bad.
But no, I thought
Marley gospel reggae album. Remember that?
Gospel
reggae
what was that? Damian Marley.
Damian Marley.
That's your savior? Huh?
You know.
No, but I think I think they're probably going to give this to Nas just because sympathy.
Get the fuck out of here.
I think that's. I literally think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, they do that with the Oscars sometimes. Like they're. I remember I was literally talking about this with somebody the other day. This exact topic. They gave the Academy Award to Al Pacino for a movie that it was like the year that Denzel Washington got nominated for Malcolm X. They gave it to Al Pacino for a movie. The movie's called Son of a Woman. It was mediocre at best, but he was talking about retiring at that point. They didn't know if he was going to keep making great movies, so they figured he never won. We got to give him one. And somebody had said this might be like Nas's Al Pacino moment, where like he really didn't deserve it. It wasn't his best album not even by a long shot. It's not even in his top 5 best albums, but they might give it to him based on his career.
Yeah.
You got to give it to Royce. You got to give it to that allegory.
No.
Royce the $5 is Royce unless he's with the Eminem, the Welcome to Hell Part 2 or whatever it's going to be called. What was their last album called? The Devil versus the Devil and
evil. Bad means evil.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's going to be more bad versus more evil, if Eminem's involved, then Royce might win. But
I think Royce gets this because you got to. Well, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Royce produced that whole album. He made all the beats for that album,
and that's the problem.
I think the production was great.
Some of those beats was just yo, bro.
So wait, how could you give that over an Alchemist produced project though? That's disrespectful.
No, it's not. It's not because you have Freddie Gibbs, who's a good rapper, amazing artist, and then you have Alchemist, who's a great producer. They collaborated. Royce, this is a conceptual album in his head. He did this in his head.
Sounds like it was in his head too.
Exactly. Yeah, he did it by himself.
I mean, I don't care about the process.
I feel like Royce is a better rapper than Freddie Gibbs is.
Oh yeah, no question about that.
Yes.
But I think I think Royce. I mean, kudos to him. He produced the album and he's a good rapper. But some of those beats sounded very
very chintzy.
I won't say. I just
chintzy.
You need to add a little bit more to that beat, or you need to sequence this a little bit better. Like those are my feelings. I was actually listening to that album today, just to go through the albums again, listen to the allegory like months ago, and you can't go from the production on Freddie Gibbs album
because it was done by like how long has Alchemist been producing?
Forever. Nobody told Royce to make those beats.
Nobody told Royce to do it.
Nobody told Royce to do that. So
I think it's just an amazing accomplishment if you are an artist and you can sit down and you can produce the album yourself and write it yourself.
And then
you know what I mean? I think that's hard in itself because you're the only person listening. That's true. What I'm saying? Like you're in when you're and that's how you can tell like this is non-biased to him. Like this is all him. You know what I mean? No. Because when you have two people in there, it's just like, yo, you should change this, or you should do this, or you should do this. No, this is just Royce doing this, and it came out as a cohesive album. Like this is a good album. I think that's hard enough. I think his effort just says a lot more than a Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist album.
No, that's an excellent point you made up. Shiz, I know you can relate to this. We've had conversations about this.
It would be like Shiz. It would be like if your man Busta Rhymes produced his own album. To you, that's like the holy grail because
no, it's not. Like
it is. That's your man.
I mean,
those beats would sound god awful if he.
But Shiz would love that.
First of all, Busta Rhymes hasn't been my favorite rapper in like 20 years, so we can get rid of that.
That's not true.
Yo.
That's not true.
We're talking about high school.
We gotta have to fact check this shit.
Nope.
Jay is my favorite. Jay's been my favorite rapper since Blueprint 1. So
that's not true because Shiz, I remember us sitting in high school and we were in study hall and you were explaining to me why, and then that song "Call the Ambulance to Come and Pick Up Your People" was hot with that beat, and you was telling me about why this song was hot. And I was like, but Shiz, no. I was like, no. And then we just decided to leave it at that. But yeah, like nah, man. Like, no.
Yeah, because listen, like from high school, people know. And Jay-Z has always been my favorite rapper, even though now I don't like Jay-Z as a person. I don't know him as a person, but the things he does, I don't like him as a person, but he's always been my favorite rapper. Like Nas has always been Charles's favorite rapper. Like we know that. Busta Rhymes has always been your favorite rapper.
Absolutely.
Shiz, yes.
I was a huge. Don't get me wrong. In my younger years, Busta was
When did Call the Ambulance to come and pick up the people come out? I need to know a date.
I mean, that was definitely like that might have been like
2003,
02, 03.
Nah, hold on. But all I'm gonna say is,
I remember Shiz wanted that play at senior prom, so that was his shit. That was his jam.
Wow,
Nah.
that would have been. He does make a lot of great club music though. Like
he does.
I'm not taking that out. He is one of the club kings.
So I tried to give his album that he just released a listen.
I didn't.
And what's that song with Mariah Carey? They tried to remix it. Like
that song was.
Once that came on, I was like, okay, we're finished here. And that was it for me. And it was like 28 songs. Like it in the year.
I thought he put out like a double album. Like Friday, he put out one of them, and then the next Friday he put out like the other half or something.
I don't know what he did, but I loaded the album up and it said 1 hour 39 minutes. I was like, all right, man, that's
you keep that, brother.
To Shiz, that's too much of a good thing.
His brain was on overload.
Yeah, no, there was that one. Like he had that one song with Rick Ross. That beat was beautiful. I forget what it's called. Like you know which one I'm talking about. It's him and Busta, and they got a video for it. And they played it on the radio. I heard.
Yeah, I would have to revisit it because I was bouncing around. I went to the song he did with Rhapsody. I went to the song he did with Kendrick.
Yeah.
And then I saw that then that Mariah Carey song remix came on. I was like, all right, we're done here. So that was it. That was enough for me.
Mariah was on her 4th plastic surgery face and her 8th set of vocal cords. It's not you can't rekindle magic, but yeah, guys, check out the song with Rick Ross and Busta. That song was actually fire. It pains me to say that, but Shiz, let's just leave it. You love Busta Rhymes. Let's just leave it at that.
I was a fan. I mean, it was a great period of my lifetime.
Are you denouncing Busta Rhymes?
I'm not denouncing him. I'm just saying like his music didn't age gracefully like Drake, like Hove's did. That's all I'm saying. Hove can still make an album today. Well, he's actually nominated for a Grammy this year.
But you're still a fan of
the electronic album.
Yeah, that was it was
that's Jay-Z's album.
That's Jay-Z's
album. That's why it took Jay Electronica 14 years to put it out.
Yeah.
That's true.
But, all right, round of applause for hip hop music. So this question is for Taheem. When is your boss leaving the White House?
Oh man.
You mean your king?
You gotta fucking
your
drive
dictator?
that moving van right up there and crash it.
No, man. So to all accounts, he lost. The states that I guess he tried to sue. He lost those states again. He didn't win any of them. So now I forgot what date it is, but the Electoral College, I think committee or something like that, they have to come together and they have to certify the states now, as after it was all called or whatever like that. And I think I saw something in the news, I read something in the news, like he can block them or the people that are supposed to electoral college people that are supposed to ratify it, they can actually not ratify it, even though Joe Biden had the most votes. Like it's still this wild thing. Like I don't know why so many loopholes were written into the process of electing a new president. Like this is crazy, but
it is. It really is.
I mean, I don't think he's leaving the White House until Memorial Day. That's my personal opinion. He's going to find ways to stretch this thing out, but he lost. At the end of the day, he lost, and Biden. Biden is an older gentleman, but
I think he's going to have a better cabinet though.
He's going to have a better cabinet, better supporting cast.
He's going to put people in there that know what they're doing. Like I was talking to my mom the other day. Like Ben Carson, like he's a doctor, and he put him in charge of HUD. Like for what? Because he's a black guy?
Yeah. It's exactly that. Like that was his way of saying, look, I've hired one of the blacks. I have a black on my cabinet. Look at him, he's black and all his blackness.
Yeah,
He's in charge.
Man, it's crazy.
You know.
Super wild, man.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like I'm on Twitter daily, and I just see his tweets, and I'm just laughing because he literally looks like a sore loser.
Oh no, he's comedy. He's comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully by towards the end of January at the inauguration, U-Haul has come and gotten all of his belongings out of there, and that'll be that. I'm not even going to round of applause to him because this is some bullshit. Moving on. COVID still alive and well. I mean, alive and bad actually.
Yeah.
And the cases have gone up.
Like how did the cases go up because we became more lax on the restrictions?
I just think I mean, I think the colder weather has played a factor in the way it spreads. Like, I just feel like it's able to travel, or actually, you know what? I take that back. I think what's happening is people are taking their gatherings from outside to inside now.
Yeah,
and
once you go inside and you're not
that
out
COVID
there,
is like, oh, this is a ceiling. Let me come back down. Like that. That's what's happening.
let me set up shop.
Let me set up shop. So when you're outside, like, it's just going into the atmosphere. But when you're inside, like, they're just in between the walls. So like I think the surge started with Halloween. Like, people out there trick or treating, having Halloween parties.
I'm about to say with people, and that's the thing. Like, why were people doing those things? Like, COVID.
People can't help them. They can't help themselves, man.
It's quarantine fatigue. That's just what I feel like. They feel like, oh well, it's not going anywhere, so I might as well just go out and do it. And if I get it, I get it. Which is
I might as well go out and get COVID and die. Like,
or they're like, oh well, the good news is like I'll get it and then I'll be fine. Like and not have to worry about it for 6 months. Like it's
the crazy thing to me is people won't jog around the block to get in shape to save their life, but they'll break their necks to go to a party during COVID season.
I know, man.
America.
Like, I don't.
If you impede on somebody's freedom and rights, that's that's grounds for rebellion, pretty much.
Yep.
That's what it looks like.
I just think people weren't raised. Well, I mean, I don't know. I was brought up in a household where there is no such thing as rebellion. Like, you get told what to do, and if you don't, you get punched in the face, and then that's And I think you take that with you into your adult life, and then you just make better sound decisions. Like, listen, COVID's outside. Let me not go out here because it can kill me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a cause and effect. A simple cause and effect. Very simple equation. I don't know. I think it's COVID fatigue, and I think that New Jersey was doing very well from about the middle of July till early August was doing very well. At one point, I think there was like 250 cases a day or something absurd in a state that's the most densely populated state in New Jersey in the country, which is excellent if we only had 250 cases a day. Basically nothing. And I think it didn't really start getting bad here until like she said, right around the end of October, which coincided with Halloween, and the temperature wasn't warm enough to really be outside until 6, 7, 8 o'clock anymore, and people were like, oh well, let's just take these 20 people inside.
Yeah,
we used to just hang out in the backyard until 10 o'clock at night. Now we're going to be inside watching TV, and like COVID was like, oh, it's COVID. The virus is very delicate. It's not very resilient, but if it has the optimal conditions, it can be very, very hard to get rid of. And being inside in a climate controlled room is like an incubator for it. So
exactly.
Once we moved inside, that was the beginning of the end.
Yeah, so back to what I was saying back in March. Everybody out there, just be safe, wash your hands, wear your mask, wash your ass, and just be as safe as possible. Avoid people, and with this vaccine coming out, that's just kind of scary because like we don't really know how it's going to affect people. The FDA says one thing, it's been approved by certain, government agencies and all that. But we really won't know until, people take it and, we see how they react to it.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm probably not going to take the first batch because I want to see what it does to everybody else.
Well, they were saying crazy stuff like if you don't take it, they were saying they'll stop people's like public assistance.
Oh yeah, they're gonna put
and all other stuff. They're gonna put things in place like so.
Absolutely.
If your job opens up, your job can say you can't come back to work until you take this vaccine.
Yeah, and then they'll say in the interest of public health, they'll use that as the excuse.
I mean, if that starts to happen, then we're gonna have a major problem. Like the government's gonna literally be in control of like everything.
Well, you already can't. They're already saying you can't fly. Like all the big airlines are saying, like they're strongly considering it unless like you can show proof that you got it, that you can't fly. I think that means that it's going to happen. Like they're just kind of warming the country. They don't just want to say now that's what it is. They're gonna implement that, though, especially international travel.
So how are they going to be able to prove that you have taken the vaccine or not?
You're gonna get it's like a shot document. It's just gonna say you had the vaccination at this time. They might even do it kind of like a driver's license.
Mm-hmm. It might be like a barcode that they scan. Like, oh yeah, this is your, and it's all will be tied to your social security number because that's your footprint anywhere. And
see, and that's where we get biblical because
they were talking about somebody hit me with that Bible verse.
Yo, I mean, you know me. I grew up in the church, so this is where it gets scary for me personally.
Yeah, not me
because
too.
you talk about the mark of the beast and all that. I mean, we can have.
They said the mark of the beast was tattoos.
It could be a tattoo. It could be like a chip. It could be some type of identification where.
If the mark of the beast is tattoos, and me and you are both, we're gonna need warm clothes when we go.
Yeah, that's what I was just like, I'm already fucked it, right?
Yeah.
Nah, it gets really crazy with that. So, start just open up your Bibles every morning. Get some good in your heart.
I do have a Bible. I have a Bible, but I think for me it's easier to listen to the Bible than to try to read it. So I listen to it on audiobook. I actually listen to the Torah, but because trying to decipher it, like as you're reading it, and I'm not a religious guy, so it's just like, what am I reading right now?
You might do well with Ty. You might do well with a I had one years ago. It's a study Bible. It's called. I
had a friend actually suggest that to me. Say, hey man, because he's a pastor. Yeah, he actually has a podcast. We'll probably shout him out next week. But he has a podcast. He's really, really a spiritual guy. He was in the Air Force with me, and he got me on. I don't want to say the kick, but he got me into looking into being more spiritual and stuff like that. But he definitely suggested I get a study Bible.
Yeah, it's called the Amplified Bible. It's good. I still go back just because it like literally kind of breaks everything down, not in layman's terms, but very like linearly. It helps.
Yeah. So what I usually do, I have this app on my phone called the Daily Bread. Mm-hmm. It gives you like a passage about something that you can.
Yeah, I got something like that too. It's called I think it's called the Bible or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. But so you get an alert in the morning and it'll tell you a passage to read.
Yeah, so you read a passage, like a story that kind of relates to like, what's happening in the world today, and then they use some Bible verses. So what I try to do is I read that every morning. I've been doing this for at least like 8 years now. So I'll read that before I read the foolery that's on social media, so I can have some balance in my.
I'm about to say you gotta read that before you watch a Cowboys game.
Nah, because like if you hop up out of bed and you hop straight onto like Twitter and you see people talk about eating ass and stuff like that, it's just a bad way to begin your day. Like
what?
But
who do you follow on Twitter?
Yo, come on, Tanya, on that Twitter is the Wild Wild West.
Eating ass is like chic right now for some. Not for me. Not for me. Not for me. It's like the chic thing to do. Like that's what all the kids like back in the day. All the kids had a fad. This is the new fad. Eating ass is the new fad.
Oh my gosh. But no, Twitter's the Wild Wild West.
Eating ass is the new fidget spinner. It's all over the place.
My man with the analogy.
I never had a fidget spinner, and I ain't
fidget spinner.
I'm gonna quote a great man. I ain't kissing no ass, literally or figuratively. and that's that on that.
All right, so let's wrap up this COVID and eating ass segment.
I'm sorry, man. I even said it, and I didn't.
All right, so round
I didn't say that. She said that.
Oh, she said it. Wow.
She said you ass on
All right.
Twitter.
So we want to give some shout outs.
You said you ate ass on Twitter? Wait, what? Is that what Tayyip just said? I'm not. Wait, hold on.
See, this is
No.
how
Time out.
rumors just
That's
get
what
out of
I'm
control.
trying to address it. I'm not just.
I said
he sees it on Twitter.
I said I read the Daily Bread every morning.
I know that
because if you go on social media, the first post you might see is somebody talking about eating ass.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I just missed that. For some reason, okay.
I might say,
how did you miss that?
So for I don't know. He thought you said you eat ass in the morning.
No. I heard that, and then I was like, and then when Todd just said it out of the corner of my ear, I was like, wait, what now? I was like, shiz, you can't be talking about the Daily Bread and eating ass in the same sentence. That's sacrilegious. That's sacrilegious.
Come on, man.
I know you a man of faith.
I say you was raised better than that.
Yeah. Come on.
Don't let Butch see this episode.
Yeah, no.
Come on, man. Stop it.
So for the audience, that's just a peek into like our daily lives, like the shit that we laugh about. That's like our group chats.
Yeah.
A bunch of miscommunication.
Yeah.
Not a bunch of talk about eating ass.
Yes.
Not a bunch of talk about eating ass. This is the anti-ass eating zone that we abide by.
Yeah. All right, Taheem, you wanted to get some shout outs this week.
Yeah, we're gonna give some shout outs. We gotta be more consistent when giving the shout outs. We're always trying to be super positive about people doing their own thing, starting their own businesses, being young entrepreneurs, finding out that there is another way to make money, to access different avenues, to just be more positive, to reach more people in different ways and help people. So this week we got 4 people we want to shout out. Mr. Encore, who usually does, our beats for us, our intros. We've known this guy since we were in high school. I think he completed a beat a day for like 100 days challenge not too long ago. And
it was 365.
Oh, 365. Yeah. So he made a beat. Yeah. He made 1 beat per day for a whole year. Like, and this guy, he sells beats. This guy has some real heat behind him.
Round of applause to him. Round of applause.
And also to his wife, Mama Hill. Her Instagram is _MAMAHILL_. That's her Instagram. She's a personal chef, and she specializes in vegan food. I know a lot of people think vegan food is just like a cauliflower turkey that people deep fry, but that's not it. She has, if you go on her page and look at the pictures, like she has food that, for one, looks like it's, has meat in it, but it doesn't. It's all vegan. And I have yet to been able to taste any of it, but I definitely do. It all looks really good. Like it's just stuff that you want to definitely try and check out, especially if you're trying to change a habit of yours. If you have bad eating habits, you can definitely hit her up and get some good food.
All right, so round of applause to her.
I'm not vegan, but shouts out to those who are.
Yes, I'm not vegan either, but I mean, I'd have a vegan meal. I'm definitely not opposed to that.
You got, what's good to each their own, right?
Yeah. So next up, we got Vero Mastodon. This is a fitness page. It's VEROMASTODON on Instagram. They also have a website, which is the same way I spelled it.com. They have supplements, pre-workouts, which I took their pre-workout twice. It's really good. They have workout clothes, and they also do workouts for people. Like they'll create workouts for you and stuff like that. A couple of guys I'm in the military with. One of them I work hand in hand with. Another guy I formerly worked with out on the flight line. Bunch of good guys. If you're trying to work out, trying to get into working out, you just need motivation. You can definitely go over to these guys and hit that main site that I just gave you, and then you can see all their individual accounts under that. It's just a real good page to go to if you need some workout motivation.
All right, round of applause to them.
And also we have a urban hair stylist, DB Styles. Her Instagram is DEEBESTSTYLES. She does all types of urban hairstyles. You can go on her page, look at all her pictures and stuff like that. Her business line is 72765 72707. She's located in Trenton, New Jersey. And yeah, just young entrepreneur trying to get out there, trying to give people the best quality product, for their money, their time and patience and stuff like that. Really cool person. So yeah.
All right, round of applause to her.
And anybody else, watching, if you want to get shouted out, just hit us up on the Instagram, leave your information in the inbox, and we will definitely shout you out. And if not, we'll just pick people that we look up to on Instagram, and we'll shout them out, because one of the things we have to continuously do is to uplift each other. We got to be positive. I might find something on Instagram really, really interesting, and a lot of people might not know about it. So if I bring it to the forefront, then other people know about it, and other people can get involved in it. I think that's what we have to keep trying to do, just to not be such a divisive country like we were for the past 4 years. We got to come together, no matter race, color, skin, nationality, religion, spirituality, any of that stuff. We just got to be, better people. Really got to be better, respectful people of each other, and just look out for each other, man. Just be respectful and help each other out whenever you can. It doesn't take much to help somebody out.
Absolutely. Before we wrap it up, Taheem, you want to give the people a little close up on your WWE championship belt?
Oh. Well, this is not a WWE
The
championship
discount double
belt.
belt, baby.
Upside down? Yes, upside down.
Yeah.
So on it, the light glare. It just says 98-second training group NCO instructor of the year, Tech Sergeant Taheem C. Green. So basically, in the military, if you do a good job, you win awards. You win a quarterly award, which is, there's 4 quarters in a year. Then you win an annual award, which is you were the best at that position for the entire year. And you win it in, I guess you want to call like divisions. So you go from a squadron, and then you go to your group, whatever your group is, and then you go to the wing. Then you can go to the numbered Air Force, and so on and so on. So I won this. I won this as a tech sergeant, which was not too long ago. I just put on Master Sergeant 2 days ago on the 1st. So this, I feel like if we were talking about sports and analogies, this would be like the equivalent to the Russian champion, the Russian title for the NFC.
Okay.
All right, round of applause.
Ooh, man.
Thank you.
Blessings.
All right. Any closing remarks before we wrap this thing up?
I definitely got a shout out for sure. For sure.
Go ahead. The floor is yours, my brother.
I definitely want to shout out my man Jordan, my brother-in-law. He actually, speaking of awards, he just won. He's in the Navy. He just won Instructor of the Year. He's not only my brother-in-law, he's a minority member too. So it's always great seeing us come from where we came from, the hurdles that we have to jump over. I myself being biracial, I have experienced both sides of it, so I feel the joys from both sides, and no matter what anybody says, it's always different when a Latino, Filipino, Black man does something good. There's no better feeling, especially if he's my family. So big shouts out to you, Jordan. You're a Giants fan, but I don't hold it against.
Yeah. Big shout out to Jordan. Congratulations. Sucks you're in the Navy, but
All right. So yes, round of applause for everybody. Special shout outs to everybody. This was episode 109 in the books.
Shout out to Mo. He couldn't be here because hopefully he's out in Manchester selling the house.
Yeah, selling them trap houses for the real street dealers out there. Yeah,
right.
Yes, sir. So yeah, you can email us at info@secondone.com if you want us shout out you and your business. If you want to be on the show, you want us to interview you, anything. info@secondone.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And also our YouTube channel is a Second and One Podcast. Moving into the final quarter of the NFL season, it's going to be a interesting race for the playoffs. We have 7 teams on each side getting in this year, so it's only one bye, so the game should be very, very interesting. We didn't mention the boxing event that took place this week or last week with Mike Tyson and Roy Jones. Typical boxing, corrupt draw score. I loved every moment of it. That's what boxing is. Like, you get a good fight, a lopsided fight, and then you get a draw score. So that was good. This weekend, we get another good fight. See, you're heavy. Like I would say, you're probably one of the more knowledgeable people I know in regards to boxing. Do you have any thoughts on the Spence Garcia fight this weekend?
Oh yeah, Spence is that guy. I've been following Spence for a minute now. Danny Garcia, he's always been an overachiever to me. Spence should win this easily, and until he fights, this is just the something to put in the way until they finally figure out what they're gonna do with him fighting Bud Crawford.
Absolutely, that's the big
super,
one.
That's the super fight. Yeah, there's really outside of Wilder and Fury. That's the anything south of the heavyweight division. That's the super fight. So. Yeah, he'll take care of him, God willing, this weekend, and everybody. Hopefully, 2021 we can get what the people have been asking for.
Absolutely. Okay, so yeah, if there's nothing else, any last remarks? Taim, C. No, this was
thanks for having me, gents.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. See, you get a round of applause, man. You stepped in, pinch hit, did a wonderful job. Love the back and forth about the Dallas Cowboys. That was we probably should record one like an hour-long Cowboys fan podcast because I feel a certain way, you feel a certain way, others feel a different way. We need to talk about
Isn't John Vidalone? Isn't he
exactly? We have me, C, and Vidalone have a group chat. We have a group chat, and every Sunday there's nothing but cuss words. And
it's comedy. It's definitely comedy.
It is comedy though. So we might need to just get together and record something. Just release it on a once the season is over and the Cowboys have gone 3-13, we might can do something like that. But all right, if there's nothing else, this is the Second One Podcast. Thank you guys for listening, and we go up to you guys next time.